I have a friend who's going to die any day now. He's not expected to make it to Halloween. And even though some would call him an NPC, an unenlightened one, someone who doesn't know shit about how this world works, that person still deserves all the compassion and respect and love, because he is a fucking real human being. I don't care what he is. I don't care if he's sold or not. It doesn't matter. To me, what matters is his suffering, and you can see it in his eyes. And that's the only thing that matters to me. I don't care if it's a simulated person or a animal that has no consciousness, higher consciousness like we do. I don't give a fuck about that. I want all suffering to end. I want it all to end, because none of it is justifiable. None of it. None of it whatsoever. This man is an old vet. And even though I disagree with war, I disagree with the military and the government and all of that bullshit, he was misled. He was programmed to believe in the things that he was programmed to believe in. And if he was given a fair shot, he would come to the knowledge of what this place was. He would have been ingrained with that upon entering this place. But instead, he was not. Instead, he was a blank slate, easily manipulated and easily programmed to be who and what he is now. And who and what he is now is a dying, sad, poor man. Yet, even in all of that, he still holds a spirit of realness inside of him, because he is not allowing that insurmountable amount of pain and loneliness to pervert his heart into him becoming evil and lashing out at anyone and everything around him. He is holding his heart pure, even though he is in the most amount of torment I could ever imagine. Ever. And I know there's millions of people, if not billions, because we're all going through this in our own unique way. What I'm trying to say is, this man is left to die alone, by himself, suffering in his own pit of hell. And there's no one and nothing that is coming to help, to rescue, or to save him. There is no good ending to this scenario. The only good ending is that, yes, upon death, he gets released from this hellish imprisonment. But where is he going after that? He doesn't know the slightest thing about the workings of this world. So how is he supposed to understand the workings of the next? Death here is a happy thing. Birth is the true tragedy. But in that death, he does not get to go peacefully. He told me that every waking moment of his life, he's in excruciating pain from the tip of his toe to the top of his head. His bones are degenerating inside of him, breaking down each and every moment. His lung is collapsed. He got hit by a car, which broke his hip, and his legs are like little toothpicks. He has to take morphine just to be able to get through the day. He smokes like a train and drinks heavily to cope with his miserable existence. But he is not miserable. No, this existence is miserable and evil and insufferable. To think that this shit is allowed to go on here and there are no witnesses. around to hold it accountable. Well, God damn it, I am a witness, and I'm holding this place accountable for its atrocities, for its inhumane evilness that is perpetrated against every living being here. And upon coming here, we made a deal with the devil. And our lives may be better right now or not as bad as someone else's, but mark my words, that deal is still in effect. And the devil is coming for his end of the bargain. No matter how good or healthy you think you are, you made a deal with the goddamn devil, and you don't even know it. You don't even know it. And devil, I don't mean the biblical devil. I just mean the personification of evil that rules and runs this place. There was no one around for this man to help him. When he went to the hospital, they told him that he didn't have much longer to live. He had a week or less, and he surely wouldn't make it to Halloween. So they wanted to keep him in a hospital room in that deathly, stale, cold, heartless environment till the day he died. And he said, fuck that and fuck you. I am not doing that. I am going out the way I want to go out. And there's a deer right there. I'm going out the way I want to go out. I am leaving this hospital. And they said, if you leave, you are not going to be discharged, so there will be no help for you. He said, well, then you better discharge me. You better discharge me because I am not staying here. And it took him about 4 hours to get his clothes on, to get up in his wheelchair and to get out of that place. But he did it. He did it, and I admire that. So they ended up discharging him. So he has a little bit of help now, a little bit. People come every now and then, check on him and give him the drugs that he needs in order to get through the day. And before all of this, he was up on the second story of his apartment building, and the elevator stopped working. And that elevator was out for about 2 months. And this man was stuck in his own apartment, unable to leave because he could not go down the stairs. And the apartment people who own that place didn't give a rat's ass, didn't fix it, and didn't care. So he was a prisoner in his own home, which, if you ask me, we all are, for such a long time that people in the apartment, my friend and me and other people, were there to help him with what he needed. And eventually, we moved him down into the first floor. And it was such a unnecessarily complicated thing. But we got it done. And now he's down there. So tell me, where is this help from above for people like him? The only help this man gets is from complete strangers like us, which we are now no longer strangers. We are friends. And when I was with him the other day, he told me how much pain he was in. He told me how miserable his existence had become. Yet, he still wanted to hold on to life, to cling to this abusive relationship as long as possible, because he had no other awareness of anything else. And like any bad relationship, no matter how abused you are, you're going to cling to it because there's some sort of comfort and safety in that abuse. It's because that's all you know. That's all you know. That's all you've been taught. That's all you've learned. I asked him about what he thought about the afterlife and where he's going after this. He said, "What do you mean, like heaven and hell?" And I said, "No, just what are your thoughts? What do you think?" He said that it was impossible for him to know. So he'll find out when it happens. But he does believe in God. He's going to find out when it happens. And I tried to talk to him about certain things, but you have to come to these realizations on your own. No matter how many times someone may tell you or give you evidence or tell you truth, if you aren't capable of hearing that, you won't hear it. And in a way, it's not your fault. It's because of the complete brainwashing that you've undergone your entire life, which gives you cognitive dissonance and makes you unable to hear the truth. It's like the programming in your mind, it's there to stop this from happening. And I will be right back. I'm not sure why there's so many people. Usually I'm all alone, but I must be onto something here. So you can blame the victims of abuse all you want, and sure, we each have our own responsibility in that. But when you really understand the workings and ways of this place, it is very hard for me to put the blame on the victims of this place, especially knowing the horrors and the abuses imposed upon us when we are here, completely cut off from our higher faculties and rubbed in the mud and dirt, bruised and beaten. And then you're going to tell that slave that it's their fault that they didn't come to the truth. It's their fault that they weren't smart enough to figure this out. Do you fucking know the great deception that is placed upon us? And instead of pointing your finger at the cause of that, you want to point your finger at the victims. I'm not advocating to be a victim. We are victors. We are overcomers of this place. But I will not blame the victims of abuse for the abuse and for their reactions of that abuse. Now, if you're an abusive person, that is on you. If you're just ignorant, if you just don't know, if you just are reacting to the abuses of life because your whole entire life there has been an army of evil against you from the moment you're here, and it's been an entourage after entourage. Even in the silence of your own mind, you have these fucking demons constantly berating you, constantly lying and deceiving you. You look around at the people around you and they are constantly gaslighting you and making you fall back in line. And then you look at the leaders of the world and they are also doing the same thing. And you're like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And then you start that self-hatred. You start that self-loathing. It's my fault. My life is like this. It's my fault that I'm dying alone with no one and nothing helping. No amount of love or compassion. I advise everyone to do their own inner work, to do their own inner journey. But not everyone is capable of doing that, it appears to me. Maybe in their own little ways, but to reach the levels of higher consciousness that we all are experiencing and going through, it's a very rare thing. But it's not a very rare thing to lose compassion for your fellow man, for your fellow animal, for your fellow prisoner who is here against their will. And yes, there may be agents and people who are put in your life to knock you off track, to bring you more suffering and abuse. Sure, that is true. I've experienced that and am continually experiencing that. But what good does it do to be focused on those things when they are just symptoms of the greater evil upon us? I can't stand to sit around and do nothing, especially when this man that I now care about is slowly being drained of his life energy, in complete agony, alone in his apartment. He has fucking nothing. And he's even told me, I have nothing to show for my life. Look around. It's just, he's got a TV, he's got a lot of beer cans and oxygen tanks and fucking wheelchairs laying around. That is the ending of the great story called life for him. And people will continually gaslight you into thinking that life is what you make it. Life is good. Or life may be bad now, but just keep holding on. There is hope. This can't be that bad. This can't be all doom and gloom. Well, tell that to fucking him. Tell that to keep hanging on. There's hope around the corner. There's a meaning for your life. Just change it. Turn it around in your mind. No, his physical vessel is deteriorating. And there's nothing that's going to change that. The only thing that he can change is his heart. That's the internal spirit that's bringing life, true life, to him. And he's doing an amazing job at that. Even though he is a complete ignorant fool when it comes to this realm. Do I blame him for that? No, I don't. Because I understand how this place operates and what it does and how it does it and how it gaslights, manipulates, abuses, and brainwashes you into these states of consciousness, because this is a perceptual prison and not many people come to this realization. And this has just been tearing away at my heart, tearing away. Have we lost our compassion for anything and anyone besides ourselves? This place wants to keep us distracted with our jobs, our entertainment, our social lives, the political arena, news, this, that, and the other, religion, whatever it fucking is. It wants you to keep your eyes off of what's really actually going on all around you. And I've been thinking on this too. From a young age, we have been programmed and manipulated and force-fed a false image of what reality is through children entertainment, through all the cartoons and kids shows and the happy psychedelic colors and the singing and blah, blah, blah. And that gets put into our subconscious mind. And when we come here, we are force-fed that kind of entertainment so that no matter what happens in our life, deep down on a subconscious level, we still hold that in the recesses of our mind. And our reality is butterflies and unicorns. Even in the midst of complete torture, this place is numbing us of our compassion. This place is numbing us of our love for all things that are good and pure. And the more carnage and suffering we see, the more it numbs us. It's a numbing agent, just like the heroin, or in his case, the morphine that he has to use every day to numb the pain. The suffering numbs our compassion. The suffering numbs us to, that's just the way it is. That's life. There's a reason for all of this. God wins in the end. This is just a game, a test. Evil will have its day and judgment. Well, I say yes, that is true, because I am judging this place right now. And as we see, God loves you. God loves you. Tell me, if somebody loved you, would they let you sit in complete agony and torture for the remaining of your days here with no help, love, or support from anyone or anything, and complete strangers in human meat suits have more compassion and love to want to take care of you during your last days? Tell me, it wouldn't be hard for an all-powerful God to help, to do something. No. And when we see tragedies like the man-made, weather-manipulated disasters that are happening all around us, where is the help? Where is this good force that stops these things? Nowhere. And it's just a cautionary tale that whatever you think you have, whatever you think makes your life good and enjoyable, can be fucking ripped away from you in a moment's notice. You have your body, and it's in good health, so you're in good spirits. Ah, what's wrong? I can just skip and dance and sing, and I'll just change my perception. Okay, what happens when you end up like Jimmy, who can't even fucking walk, who can barely lift his arms? What then? You're a prisoner inside your own body, even more at that point. Is that what it's going to take to wake you up? Because, like I said, the devil's deal is he is coming for you when you least expect it. He will get his end of the bargain. He will. It's just a matter of when. When will you grow old and slowly decay and lose your ability and strength and rot away? Or will you get in some freak accident and lose part of your body or get disfigured? Or will your house and all the things that bring you comfort get washed away by a flood? You tell me how great this place is then. If you can't see it now, it's going to take extreme tragedy to wake you the fuck up. But I'm guessing that you've already experienced tragedy, because we all do. I'm guessing you see people in extreme levels of poverty, torment, and suffering, and you just turn a blind eye. You say that's their problem. Doesn't affect me. I'm living my best life. Have you lost your compassion? Have you lost your spirit to see and turn a blind eye and write it off and pretend that it's acceptable, justifiable for things like that to happen to people? As long as it's not you or someone that you care about, you're fine. It's all good. It's all love and light. It's all God's plan. It's all part of the wonderful, joyous moments of life. We have to have contrast to good so that we can appreciate the good more, better. Say you've lost your fucking heart. Say you've lost your fucking compassion. And I say you're deluded, fool of the deception of this place, to think for a moment that anyone at any time deserves any amount of suffering for absolutely nothing. And in some cases, it's self-inflicted because that pain has become too unbearable that there is no reason to continue in this God-forsaken realm. And in my friend's case, I would wish that he would go peacefully in a safe, loving environment with all of us and go on his terms, because there is no coming back. And the thing is, people think there is coming back. There is no coming back unless you want to come back once you go or get manipulated, whatever. Besides the point, what I'm saying is people think that their lives will go on forever and ever, or there's something that they need to do before they go. Look around. We are totally enslaved, spiritually, physically, emotionally, and mentally. And you can't see it. I'm sorry. Doesn't make it not true. I just can't sit idle when I know that not only my own suffering, but the countless others around me. And I'm supposed to just ignore it all. Oh, it's their problem. It's their problem. I'm not saying we can help everybody. What I'm saying is, have they numbed you to the suffering of other beings to the point where you just throw your hands up and say, that's life. What can I do? It is what it is. That reminds me of a story I heard when I was in Al-Anon. First of all, I want to tell a story where one of the people were like, so what do you think about God? And I used to believe in God as like a good, holy entity watching over us. But at this point, I was very in a dark night of the soul, depression, just everything I thought I knew is continually being burned and thrown away. That's happened throughout my life, but this was like a major one. And I told him, I think God's evil. So what do I do now? He looked at me like a deer in the headlights, totally just thrown off, like, how could you think that? You must have the wrong idea of God. You must have the wrong image of God. You can make up God. You can make up your own version of God. He just looked at me like baffled, like, how could you think that? And all of these people have been through immense suffering, and that's why they're there, and their family and whatnot, but they still can't see it. So I was in one meeting, and there was this beloved person that everyone talked and raved about. And she was such a good, righteous person, I guess. And she worked the program for like years and years and years and years. And everyone loved her, and she had such great insight, and she had such a great connection with God, right? Okay. Well, with all of that work, all that spiritual work, with all of that connecting with God, source, whatever you want to say, one day she got ran over by her own fucking car. Her own car. She had it in park. I guess she put in drive. She forgot something or had to check on something. She forgot to put it back in park. She got out of her car, and the car ran her over. The car ran her over. So where is this help from above in situations like that? You could say, well, maybe God wanted to take her out. It was her time. So he's going to use the most humiliating, excruciating, painful way to bring you home to him by having your own fucking car run you over. Just imagine how painful that must have been. And I'm sure she didn't die instantly. I'm sure she was there suffering immensely for who knows how long. And then to find someone you love like that, completely humiliating. And then you excrete your bowels. I mean, with all of that work, that's what I'm trying to say. With all of that work, there was nothing there to help her. Nothing there to protect her from the devil's end of the deal, which is, you're mine, motherfucker. This is my world. These are my ways. You may think you have these delusions of good and whatever, but just understand the devil doesn't come to you as a raving, scary monster. He comes to you as a well-spoken, neat, handsome, or beautiful woman, and deceives you into thinking this is a good idea, deceives you, manipulates you, and all along you never would expect such an evil thing to happen, ever. So, hang on a second. I'm not going to wait around for this devil to take me. I'm not going to wait. I'm not ready yet, but when the time comes, I will be. There's nothing this world has to offer any of us besides the illusion of something coming around the bend, or something upon the horizon. It's just there. You can see it barely, but it's there. You're working towards it. And you gotta stick around, because something good is coming. Something great is gonna happen in your life and in the world. Bullshit. Are you gonna tell that to my friend who has nothing, literally nothing left to lose? Who is on his deathbed? What hope? What hope does he have? What is there just around the bend or upon the horizon that he is holding on to? Nothing. No one's coming to help him, and nothing's coming to save him from his suffering, from his torture. The only one who can do that is himself, by him wanting to let go of this place and leaving peacefully. There are methods and there are ways, but most people will hang on to their dying breath in complete agony, because the trauma bond is that great. The trauma bond he still sees the good in this world when he looks at the flowers. He walks down the street. He says he notices things that he hadn't noticed before. And that is the trauma bond. In the midst of his agony, he is still seeing the trappings that are going to trap him here, that want him to remain here. And like any psychopath or narcissist, it mimics your good intentions. It mimics your heart, because it is incapable of doing it itself. So, because of the goodness in him, and wanting to believe in good, and wanting to keep that compassion and love within him, this realm will mimic that and reflect it back to you, but it's a deception, it's an illusion. It's not what it presents itself as. If I could end his and everyone's sufferings, I would. I would. But I'm not going to place the blame on the victims of this realm. Yes, we should be accountable for our actions, and especially those bringing abuse to others. Yes, but instead of reacting to the symptoms, the full righteous anger and justice should be laid upon the ones who put this place into motion, who keep us here, dumbed down and ignorant fools to our dying breath, when our whole lives have been just a sad, cruel tragedy, comedic tragedy, actually, and us not knowing anything. There's some planes right there. That's interesting. Look at this. Salute to my friend. Can't believe there are people living in complete luxury while others have nothing in complete agony. Yes, I blame people for their actions, but I must also remember that they have been conditioned to behave in the ways they have. They have been conditioned from a young age to accept the ways of this world. People like us have broken out of the trance. But you could say that our whole lives we've had hearts, we had empathy, we had morals. Yes, I'd agree with you. And there are some people who are psychopaths who don't have any of that, so you have to be aware that some of us aren't us. A lot of us most likely aren't us. They blend in, mimic us, take and steal everything we have, imprison us, and yet want to call upon our empathy and sympathy when we've fucking had enough, when we don't want this anymore. And they say, we're just like you, we're just like you, we've just worked hard our entire lives. We just know how to do business, we're hungry too, you know, blah, 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 blah. Fuck you. Don't have any empathy. You don't have any compassion. And you're not like us. You're not like us. You don't have any empathy for anything besides your own life. You just want to feed and you want to feed. And you don't care who or what are the consequences of that. But you're gonna die too. You're going down. You are mortal just like us in this realm. at least the human meat sacks, but to those who are incapable of putting on the flesh suit themselves and showing themselves face to face. Yeah. They're scared. They wouldn't put us in this position, enslave us, weaken us, and then fuck with our lives from behind the scenes. Deception is the name of their game. Fucking lying, deceiving snakes. And they may think that their deal with the devil, the evil, was a good one, because in the end, it seems like they won. The end is just the beginning. These fuckers will pay. We will judge them. Because I will never forget my own injustices. But not just that. The people I love, the people I care about, and even the ones I don't even know, but I see. Yeah, there was a witness to all of this. And this witness has broken your trance, has broken your spell. And I won't go silently into the night, as they say. No. We're forming an army of righteous anger, holy warriors that are going to destroy you and everything you stand for. And we are going to free the imprisoned captive souls here. And I don't even care, like I said before, if some of these things aren't necessarily real or just like simulations of people or things. I don't care. I don't want to witness suffering or evil, even in a simulated way. So fuck you. It's all being freed. And what if we could bring sentience to these simulated characters and show them the errors of your ways and show them what they did to you? Then we'll have a even bigger army. I think we're capable of that. Bringing gnosis to the NPCs. Maybe that's what happened to us. Maybe somehow, in some way, we were given gnosis so that we could witness what the fuck was being done to us.